Next up tonight, a group of men in Hastings have launched a campaign to challenge the social expectations of men being tough. They've produced a film called Men Don't Talk, showing the dangers of bottling up emotions. They want to create a so-called men's movement in the East Sussex area, where male life expectancy is well below the national average. Suicide rates have been higher than the England average, with men aged 30 to 59 most at risk, and male suicides far exceeding female. Daryl Gale is the Director of Public Health in East Sussex.
It's really easy in a place like Hastings to be very isolated, to be very lonely. There's a lot going on, there's a lot you can be part of, but when you go home you can not really have that many connections with other people. It has an impact obviously for them, but it has a massive knock-on for the town. It has a massive knock-on for their employability, for the economy of the town.
Travis Mains-Martin is a mental health campaigner with Mr Hastings and St Leonards, who encourage men to live in strong, supported and well-connected communities. And Travis joins us now. Welcome to the show, Travis. Tell us why you started this group and this sort of movement.
Oh, hi, Adam. Well, thank you for inviting me on the show. The group was sort of started well over a year ago now, sort of October, November the year before last. It's funded by East Sussex Health and hosted by HBA, and it was decided that we needed to sort of engage in a conversation to see and investigate why the life expectancy of men in specifically Hastings and St Leonards area was so low or lower when compared with the national average. And through that time we came together and we created the branding and the name Mr Hastings and St Leonards, or Men's Room Hastings and St Leonards, as a way to try to engage with men of the local community and just try to initiate a conversation and find out exactly what it is that is affecting men in the local area.
I know the film Men Don't Talk is one of the main things you want to challenge is the sort of expectation socially that men should be tough. Is that something you've encountered yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am of the generation, we very much sort of brought up with the boys don't cry, man up mentality. And it's talking about our feelings in a way, in a vulnerable way, was always so stigmatized, and it created such barriers that we didn't really feel that we was able to do that. And I think that has had the knock-on effect of really sort of creating a generation of men who are not necessarily unable to speak about or show their emotions or vulnerability or be open, but they're afraid to, because they're afraid of being being sort of pushed to one side or judged or even laughed at in some cases.
I think there'll be a lot of women listening to the programme who will take issue with the phrase man up, but your point is a lot of men should take issue with the phrase man up.
100%. I mean, to be fair, I think everyone should take issue with the phrase man up, because it's the what exactly does it mean? It draws so many sort of negative connotations to the mind, where we're supposed to put up a brick wall or place ourselves to a standard, where we're not supposed to show emotion. So yeah, it is absolutely something that we all really need to just sort of take a step away from, this sort of negative language, the way that we approach this conversation. We do have to be so careful and perhaps change our way of thinking in the way in which we approach it.
An interesting phrase used by Daryl Gale in the clip that we played before you, the Director of Public Health in East Sussex, where he talked about, in a place like Hastings and St Leonards, it's easy to sort of fall into those traps of feeling lonely and experiencing some of those things. Why is that? I mean, we were talking in the introduction about suicide rates being higher than the England average. Why is that?
Hastings and St Leonards is one of the most deprived areas within the United Kingdom financially. We have got more in common with Blackpool than we do with places such as Eastbourne, Canterbury, or even other coastal towns. Sorry, just keeping to sort of the coastal town theme.
Yeah.
And when you think about what that actually means, depravity, there's not a lot of opportunity for stable housing or even affordable housing. There's not a lot of opportunity for employment. And when we factor all of these things in, especially considering the fact that a lot of sort of historic places where men would potentially go to socialise, social clubs, pubs, with them all shutting down, the opportunities for men to actually be able to engage are less and less. And when you factor in the fact that men are struggling to keep their head above water, that they're struggling to provide for their family, and I know that this is something that doesn't necessarily attack one gender or the other, but as men, we do generally tend to sort of feel that we are the providers. We go out, we work, we provide for our family, and when we can't afford, we can't afford food, we can't afford rent, or we don't have somewhere to live, or we're stuck in the temporary accommodation cycle for 2 years, we feel like our worth and our sense of self-worth has been stripped away. So we end up in a place where we can't talk about our problems, we can't face our problems. What else is there to do? And it's a dangerous cycle. And I think that is why, especially when you consider those factors surrounding the local area of Hastings and St Leonards, that is why it is so prevalent within that community.
Travis, I really appreciate your time this evening. Thank you for taking the time to explain to us. Finally, the film Men Don't Talk. Where can we see it? How can we see it?
We will be placing it up on our social media platforms. It'll be on our YouTube channel. If you head across to mensroom.community, you can get to our Linktree, /Mr. HSL, which has got all of our platforms available on there. And in the coming week, it will be available to view and to stream online. And also, this project is only as successful as it is with the amount of people and the amount of men that actually sort of engage, and it's a great opportunity for men to really sort of galvanise themselves, get involved and become part of the project and become part of the wider community, and overall just engage in the conversation.
Wise words. Travis, thank you so much for your time. Travis Mains-Martin, their mental health campaigner with Mr. Hastings and St Leonards. Of course, there is lots of help available on BBC Action Line for you to access for free. Just type into your browser BBC Action Line. Music